No, there's no way. There's no way. The box is talking to me.
Well, I guess you gotta go back in the box then?
I mean, can we not?
Oh, God. Just... Ah! Okay. That's... I think I got it.
Chad?
You seem to be a busy man.
Are you doing like a Nick Fury thing?
Saw the Far From Home trailer. I got a little inspired.
Is that why John's passed out on the floor?
I wouldn't worry about him.
Did you tranquilize John?
It's time we did that thing we talked about.
Yeah, but are you sure that now's a good time for that?
No time like the present.
Yeah, but like, is right now really the best time for an episode of The Minute, brought to you by Movie Night Autopsy? Yeah, I'll get changed. Well, all right. I guess we're just gonna go ahead and do this now.
It's bound to happen.
Just get the whole thing done.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Sam.
I'm Chad.
And you were watching The Minute, brought to you by Movie Night Autopsy. And today we're going to go through our definitive, ultimate, cumulative, just list.
Super list.
List of lists of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're gonna rank those movies.
Straight up from number 21
Today.
all the way down to number 1 hits.
All 21 films.
Thus far.
We have not seen Endgame yet, obviously. That's why we're doing this.
Yep.
Is because you Endgame's a thing. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
It's 'cause Endgame's
Is it a thing?
But we gotta stop wasting time. We gotta get into this thing.
Okay,
I mean, like
so-
let's get the clock on the board. We have that much time to get through. Get to number 10, and then we
Gotcha.
can go a little bit deeper. But let's
Okay.
just go ahead and dive right into it.
Okay.
Number 21, we have The Incredible Hulk. Do you have anything to say about The Incredible Hulk?
Nope, no one did.
Neither does anybody else. So we're just gonna move
Okay.
right on along.
Number 20, Thor.
Thor. The best thing about Thor is it introduced us to I still feel is the best villain of the MCU, and that's Loki.
There's a lot of people in it.
Yeah. Number 19, Thor 2. The darker world than the first one.
Looked really cool. That the look of it's cool, but
Yeah, it had a couple of good moments.
Yeah.
Mostly Loki moments.
number 18, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What happened to that movie? I just saw it last year, but what happened in it?
Bigger fun. There was more.
Was it,
Yeah,
though?
there was the Giant Man shows up at one point.
Was
There's cool
the
effects.
so it was literally bigger.
It was
so
literally
the amount
bigger.
of fun wasn't bigger.
It's about as average, about the same.
No, I think the fact that we haven't talked about Ant-Man yet is
Point taken.
Number 17, Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop the clock right there. That brings us to our brand new segment of the day called The Internet is an Awful Place. The Internet is an awful place. It's really bad.
It's bad.
And that's been our new segment, The Internet is an Awful Place. The Internet is an awful place.
Number 16, Iron Man 2. You know what's great about that movie? The first half.
Yeah,
A lot of fun.
pretty much everything up and through like the Iron Man War Machine fight.
Yeah.
That's
after that,
such a cool fight scene.
it's really neat.
It's so good.
But there's still more movie after that, so that's why it ends up where it is.
And then Mickey Rourke just kind of shows up. 15. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Yeah, the first Ant-Man. I had a lot of fun with that one.
We found an excuse to put Paul Rudd in something, and I'm always down for that.
Paul Rudd's he's
Paul Rudd's
funny.
great. I like
he's
Paul Rudd.
funny.
Yeah.
And Michael Pena. Oh man.
Oh, dude,
he's the unsung hero of that movie.
That whole like supporting cast
That's part
deserves
of-
their own.
That's kind of part of why like Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't work as well for me. It's just kind of recycled the things that worked in Ant-Man. Like it's just like these worked in the last movie, so here they are again.
Yeah.
But now there's a lady involved. Did sexism pop up on the screen? I feel like sexism. Should have.
Number 14, Avengers: The Age of Ultron.
You mean the less than 2 hours of Ultron?
Yeah. It's not so much an age as it's a fad.
Yeah, it was a really quick fad at that.
No one called bell bottoms an age of bell bottoms. The Renaissance, that was an age.
There wasn't the age of Jinko shorts.
Yeah, it was a thing.
But like I definitely feel like we were talking about this a little bit before we started shooting, that there's the kernel of a better movie inside what we were ultimately able to see.
Yeah.
Like this one, this is the film that exhausted Joss Whedon, is the reason
Yeah.
why he's no longer directing in the universe anymore.
Yeah.
So there is that. Number 13, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The movie with daddy issues.
Well, who doesn't have dad issues?
In that movie, I think
I know what you're about to say.
I think Drax. Drax doesn't appear to have daddy issues.
Yeah, everyone else kind of has dad issues.
Literally
in that
every
movie.
other character in that movie has daddy issues.
Really?
Has a serious like complex with authority figures.
Yeah. And you know, like Kurt Russell's character is just holding back.
Yeah,
about his- he's graduated from dad issues to full existential crisis.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, Michael Rooker's character is Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah. You just had to work that in.
I had
Yeah,
to.
that's fair.
I had to. Like the Mary Poppins joke, I had to work that in.
Number 12, Doctor Strange. Trippy and weird.
Yeah, I really
That's
liked
what
it
I like
as an
about it.
origin story.
Yeah, oh God, most of us are sick of origin stories, but Doctor
worked.
Strange works.
It worked.
There's cool music in it.
I mean, like the movie does a good job of like, you really don't like Benevolent Cumberbund whenever he first shows up as like the Doctor in the normal world, and then whenever
Benedict Cooper bag.
that guy. Whenever the bad thing happens to him that forces him to have to overcome an obstacle and become Doctor Strange and all that, like you're kind of like, man, you deserved that.
Yeah, you've had this coming for a minute.
You arrogant prick. you kind of deserve something bad happen to you. Number 11, Iron Man 3. In my opinion, the best Iron Man.
Really?
But we'll get to the one that ranks higher than that on this list.
I have one very specific statement about Iron Man 3. Didn't like it when I first saw it. As time went on and I watched more Shane Black movies, I see it as a Shane Black movie more than an Iron Man movie. That's what makes it work.
Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah,
Like Sam Raimi
like
Spider-Man.
The Last Boy Scout or something. Yeah.
Nah, man, I love Iron Man 3. Like, I saw it in theaters and I enjoyed it, but like it's one of those that kind of like wore on me better as time went on. And like the last time I watched it, I was like, yeah, this movie's badass. And there's just enough like ridiculous fireworks at the end. I didn't give a shit about the Mandarin Switch. I don't care enough about the Mandarin as a character in the comics to care about the Mandarin Switch.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as a plot point, and I thought the story paid off well. And the Shane Black, then the very heavily Shane Black Iron Man 3 is, in my opinion, the best Iron Man movie. But moving on, stop the clock. We did it.
Hey, look at that. We pulled it off.
All right.
Hey, man, we're getting good at this.
We it came down to the last second there, but
Man, we didn't pull it off.
But we pulled it off.
Oh, man, I was
we
worried about
almost
it.
missed it. And now that brings us to the next segment of the show, the top 10 list.
Oh, hey, we can't. We went over there with legal. We can't use the top 10 list. That's still a Letterman thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Several
Like,
things we like. That was one of the names that was cleared.
I guess we're just going to talk about the movies that are the top 10 of the best, because we talked about the bottom 11.
That should save us what you just did.
So now we're going to...
Yeah. Yes.
We don't have any lawyers.
Number 10 on the list, the one that started them all, Iron Man. It's a lot happening in this movie without realizing it.
There's a lot of history behind that movie.
A lot of people didn't even fully estimate the importance of this particular movie at the time they were watching it.
Oh no! Well, I mean, that was the start of the great experiment, so to speak.
Yeah, I remember my first thought was, they're doing scenes after trailers. That's the most interesting thing I got from it.
Yeah.
Not they're gonna do this thing, because they didn't plan out everything before this movie.
Well, no, I mean, this was back in the dark ages of 2008. I say that because that's when The Dark Knight came out.
Did you want to say anything about the villain or Jeff Bridges being in it, or how like Terrence Howard was fantastic even though he got recast? Or
yeah, that was a shitty situation. The Terrence Howard thing. But
yeah, it sucks it didn't work out because I love Terrence Howard. Like I was really impressed with Hustle and Flow and how this guy, like, you remember him being in some stuff, but like that really shows just like tremendous chops. Mm-hmm. Guy's got chops, and then
chops. But then the guy that they brought in was Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
so
he's got chops too.
You can't be mad about the addition of Don Cheadle.
It's like, yeah, but it's just like that. For now, when I saw the movie, that thing where he looks over at the War Machine thing and he's like, "Next time, baby," and you're like, "Ha." That's back when all we needed to set up a sequel was a throwaway gag. Back then, everyone's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be awesome," and now it's kind of, you're like, "Oh, we're never gonna get that." But that's just nitpicky.
Yeah, I would have liked a War Machine movie. That's one thing that I was hoping
for. Like a singular War Machine movie?
In the early days. It's one of the things that it was like, because as they keep announcing new movies and new characters, it was like, well, maybe we'll get a War Machine movie. Yeah. How badass would that be? He just like flies in and wrecks a bunch of shit, like on lower stakes.
That was the time when you could actually, like, no one does this anymore. People just politely wait for the announcements every year, but they were like, you know what I want to see? And then they say some obscure, like, off the wall character that you don't even like remember, and I'm stalling because I can't think of one. That's how bad, like, that's how crazy these conversations were back then.
Iron Man didn't really introduce a whole lot of characters that stuck around,
just
other
the
than
Iron Man characters.
Penny Potts, Happy Hogan, and like John Favreau is the director for this one. We haven't said anything about him.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
Like, he does a good job, and now he does these big movies, like he did Jungle Book. But I'm like, it's the dude from Made and Chef. People like these little movies he does, and he's known as the indie guy. And I'm sure he would.
Well, I'm sure that Iron Man probably has a pretty good amount to do with just like that. Probably catapulted him into being able to do Lion King and Jungle Book and stuff like that.
And I think besides the budget, like, this was done at Columbia before Marvel Studios owned their own stuff, and then Disney.
Yeah, they didn't have their own studio yet.
Yeah,
they were just starting the early universe building.
But they're like, listen, we have a lot of money for effects, but this is like shooting an indie movie because of just how it's done. And like no one's interfering, and
it was the other thing. This is back whenever it was a brave new world. Worked out a whole lot better than the Incredible Hulk, which we kind of just mentioned.
We had to. It's a list.
Yeah. Number 9. Captain America: The First Avenger. I was surprised to see this one crack the top 10, if I'm being honest.
I know I ranked it high, and because I'm just a sucker for good World War II movies. Like, the guy who did The Rocketeer directed this movie, and that's done on purpose. But I'm also just like, I really like those type of movies, and I just really like the character. And it's a lot of fun to see a period piece with a superhero in it.
It's really well done period piece.
Yeah, you don't see, like, it's like the only way we could top this is if like there's ever a Batman set in the 30s or the 40s.
Like noir Batman.
Yeah, he has those weird gloves and carries guns.
Mega noir Batman.
Yeah, just super weird, and like
could be played by Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God, we have to move on. I cannot start thinking about Nick Cage's Batman in a. I don't think a lot of people gave Chris Evans like credit until they saw this, because they still remembered him as Johnny Storm, Fantastic Four movies, and then
not another teen movie. Don't forget about that one.
I did.
He was Jake in not another teen movie.
I absolutely forgot.
The star quarterback.
Is he the jerk who ends up not being the jerk, or is he the jerk who ends up?
No, he's the jerk he's the jerk who wins back the pretty girl he's the jerk who wins back the nerdy girl who was disguised as an ugly girl, but actually a pretty girl, and he wins her back right before she gets on the plane.
Freaking spoilers, Sam. Jeez.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers for another teen movie.
Come on.
But yeah, like he really, man, he really comes alive as Captain America.
Yeah.
Dude. Like
Oh
I can't
my
imagine
God.
anybody else playing Steve
Watching
Rogers.
that shield go for the first time.
And it's in the first movie you feel that way.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my God, right,
he's
like-
never like it's not like, I mean, I love watching him in Infinity War and Civil War and like popping up like in all these like more recent Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But like this is back in like, when did that movie come out? 2009, 2010?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think they did such a good job on his character, on his origin. And I feel like we can get this later with the other movies, but like if we're just talking trilogies, I like the Captain America trilogies the most. Because I really love what they do with his character. I think it's the most respectful.
I think
to
it's
the
the
character.
strongest series of films.
Yes,
Is the Captain America films.
Gotcha.
It's the strongest series of films.
I agree. Number 8, Avengers: Infinity War.
The big one.
The big one, the
Until
big
the next-
teardrop is what it is.
Until the next big one.
This is the one originally that everybody was building up to, because eventually they were like, we're doing Infinity War, it's a two-parter. And
when they announced it as a two-parter.
yeah. The Russos are taking over.
It's not a surprise it ended on a cliffhanger. Like,
No, yeah, it's not surprised it's in on a cliffhanger at all, but it's just the one that all 10 years of films has been building up to. Now it's extended out to Endgame, but depending on how Endgame looks and everything, I might, it may be like the
Well, that
Kill
was
Bill movies
always
to
the
me.
plan.
No, it's the plan, but I might consider it one large movie.
I mean, well,
Depending on how it goes.
they filmed them in very close proximity. I'm pretty sure it is supposed to kind of feel like more or less one long movie.
Yeah.
But we'll see when we actually get around to seeing Endgame. As far as Infinity War goes, we've talked a little bit about this just like on the channel and other places, on other shows. But like, I love the movie because I'm just like a huge fan of a lot of these characters. Even a couple of them that I really didn't care about until seeing them on screen. Like Thor was one of them.
Yeah.
Guardians is one that I actually like. I read a lot of the Guardians comics, the ones that this team is based on, because the Guardians comics have gone.
It's been going on for like since the
yeah,
70s.
there's a lot of really weird groupings.
It's a weird
of
comic
characters
book.
in those comics. But I've read a lot of the comics based on this group that we got for the first two movies. And like that's one of those where I was just like, I can't believe that they're making a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And then I'm so glad they blew up the way they did, because they were able to be worked into Infinity War like this, and just like
That was the crossover that we were like waiting for.
Yes.
Like everybody's. That's the crossover we got because Fox had X-Men for so long, and we never got an Avengers X-Men movie. So this is a.
But yeah, throw in them Guardians, man.
Just toss them in, and they split them up, and they just oh man, and you trying to figure out who's going to be where. Like watching the trailers, you're like, who's where when,
Right.
You know, and
Right.
is there anybody going back and forth?
Because you know it's going to be a very large story happening.
Yeah.
it
And
has
so-
to be for this
yeah.
many characters to be bouncing around, and so much props to the Russos. Like, they're not perfect as filmmakers, but so much props for being able to balance that many characters on screen, and
you care.
the story never felt rushed. It never dragged. Everybody had time to do something. There are some people I would have liked to see have more time. A couple of people who maybe didn't need as much time, but like no huge complaints as far as that goes. Like, in terms of a straight like balancing act while also juggling, like, it's impressive.
It's impressive.
Some impressive filmmaking. Number 7, Thor, but like the Ragnarok one.
Yeah. Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, really good movie, man. Really, really fucking liked that one. I had a blast.
I'll throw it. It's on Netflix, and I'll throw it up
Like the
casually sometimes.
like the first two Thors are in our bottom 5. So we talked about them very little because they're not great.
It seems so long ago that we talked about
and
those
the
movies.
and the best. I know it changed so much. The best thing
Feel like a
that
different
like
man.
this movie does is it just completely separates itself from those first two. Like, they do like the father-son dynamic a little bit with Odin. Like they bring Loki into the whole scenario.
Like you said earlier, they work in really well. The Hulk and Doctor Strange.
They work all that in very well.
They introduce Valkyrie and
Valkyrie's great.
and
Tessa Thompson, dude. I just love Tessa Thompson.
she's great in everything. Valkyrie and I don't remember the rock monster's name, but Taika's
Korg.
Waititi's Korg.
Korg.
Hey,
Korg.
you a god? That's nice. Like
Piss off,
that guy.
Ghost. That's the big one. That's the one that everybody. Piss off, Ghost.
Oh, it's not. No,
This
no,
is
he's
Mick.
dead. I stepped on him. Yeah,
Oh,
it's.
looks like Mick's still alive.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sorry, Mick. No, that I watch a movie with that guy in it again, and it's the third movie. When is the third movie the good one?
Yeah.
I'll wait. Internet, tell me, when's the third movie the good one? I don't have a watch. Seriously, it's like, yeah.
I mean, I could have done some research if I knew that you were going to ask.
Oh, I just thought of it.
It's not cool, man. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok is great. It's a great time.
Yeah,
I had
it was
a
a lot of
blast.
fun. So much fun. It covers so much.
It's the the only thing I can really say about it is like the last time that I watched it, I know that it does kind of drag it like a little bit, like as it's coming into the third act and all the shit starts
Yeah.
going down. It's not like a huge detriment to the movie. It's still a lot of fun.
This is one of those movies where they start having a great villain.
It's a rejuvenation of the Thor franchise, if you ask me, because like couldn't care less about the first two movies, even though that's where we get the Tesseract from, which is
Yeah.
such a big deal in the MCU. We get them from the Thor movies, and I just I give no shits about the Thor movies.
Yeah.
Except for Ragnarok. Ragnarok is just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like I could throw it on right now and just be like, oh, look at the pretty colors. Like
It
it's
is.
just
It is one of those movies. And I'm just going to say it because we haven't said it
took
yet.
a big cue from the Guardians movies, but
Oh,
it was
huge.
directed by Taika Waititi.
Uh-huh.
What? I know I didn't say his name right.
Watiti?
Taika Waititi.
I think it's
Is that it?
Taika Watiti?
Is that it? No, somebody
John,
on
do
the
you know?
internet correct me. Taika Waititi.
Taika Watiti?
That sounds right.
Let's go with it.
That sounds right. Yeah, very talented guy. Knocked it out of the park with this one. Total reimagining of the character. Completely rejuvenated the franchise. Yeah, great movie.
Number 6, Black Panther. Boy, is that a hell of a movie.
Oh man, yeah,
Oh, God.
great watch. And
Fantastic cast.
completely original output. It follows the Marvel formula story wise, but like it looks so much different than anything else Marvel's done.
It's got a little
It
bit of a head
feels
start.
so much different. The thing about a lot of Marvel movies, especially a lot of the ones in that bottom 10 and the bottom 5, is they don't really feel like they have much vision to them. They're very unfocused
Yeah.
feeling. Like very, very much just looks like somebody went in and just did the job and then left when the job was done. Like Ryan Coogler had a vision when he made Black Panther, and that vision was executed very well.
Super well done. It's
The worst parts about it are the things that have to check those Marvel boxes.
Yeah, that's true. It gets lucky because, and we'll get into this with this other movie. We learn about T'Challa in a previous movie, so
Yeah,
we
he's
don't have to
introduced in
worry.
Civil War,
Yeah, we
so-
don't have to worry about his origin at the beginning of this movie. He just gets to.
He
being
just
the
gets to
Black
drop
Panther.
right back in.
Literally.
Thank you, Patrick Willems.
Also, like I said with Thor Ragnarok, we start seeing killer villains in the Marvel universe. We always had Loki, but
Right.
dude, Killmonger's awesome.
Killmonger's a great villain.
He's so great. He's motivated.
He's a very actualized villain.
A little bit sympathetic.
Like you understand why he has the viewpoint that he has.
You get it. You're not questioning any of it,
yeah. Like you understand why he feels that way.
but you're still surprised.
It's just that T'Challa's on the side of, look, man, I get the anger, but that's not a healthy response.
Yeah,
Like that's not constructive.
and he's just like no dialogue's happening, so we
Yeah.
gotta fight.
Yep. So now we've got to put on CG costumes and fight
Yeah, that was a little
fight
bit of
in a
bummer.
literal underground railroad.
Like if you watch somebody fall down a big hole through a hollowed out mountain to land on a train powered by magnets, I think it was, and they both look similar, that should be way more exciting. And it just kind of looked like I was watching like two CG figures just kind of go through some After Effects background or something, just kind of scroll.
oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I was like, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Although the fight outside is still pretty cool.
Yeah, the Civil War thing happening on the surface level
Yeah.
it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's actually really cool. It's got some great sequences with like the man, I'm so bad at remembering actors' names. Is the guy from Get Out. Like he's got some great moments in this.
Oh man, I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's a British actor.
Yeah, it's a good actor. And Winston Duke, like, because you knew it was gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
eventually.
and then of course Winston Duke. I just made that connection.
Yeah,
because
but
of
like,
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, you knew you'd be like, yeah, exactly. But you knew like the other tribe was gonna show up at some point.
And
but like when they do, it's
you know,
like so perfect.
I'm interested to see where they go with that because in the comics, the guy that Winston Duke plays is actually a villain.
Yeah, so if there's like a if there's like a turn in the second or third Black Panther movie, we can feel much more like upset over like, oh man, they were almost there, like they almost had peace in Wakanda, like true peace.
That'd be a really good way to go.
Yeah, Kevin
man.
Feige, that would be a good way to go. Coogler, if you're doing the next one, I don't know if he is. I mean, if he wants to.
I mean, he made a movie that made like over $1 billion.
I mean, he can if he wants to, but sometimes directors are like one and done.
And that brings us to the top 5.
Bow, bow.
I don't know. Is it a big deal that we're in the top 5 now? I don't know.
I mean, we made it this far.
It's our first time doing a list.
It's
Number 5, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Man,
Spider-Man: Homecoming. I love this movie.
I like this movie a lot. So when it comes to
this movie.
Spider-Man in movies, it's unlike most of these characters where we're trying to figure out what to do. They already know how to do it. And the previous 5 Spider-Man movies that comes before it from other studios and other directors and filmmakers and stars, there's people can always nitpick what does work and what does not work.
2 of those were really good.
Yeah. But people could say, well, the thing about this is that. And there's like... With this Spider-Man movie, it looks like they just pulled off everything you're supposed to in a Spider-Man movie. Like he's a good Peter Parker, he's a good Spider-Man.
Like I like the teenager angle.
He's a real kid.
Those are some of my favorite comics.
He's not a young actor who we can pull off as a teenager.
He's actually I think he was 20 when he was filming the role,
and he
kind of has like a really young look anyways. Like really pulls off the Peter Parker role well. Another British actor, by the way, and I don't know. Like there are plenty of people who weren't that into the movie, and they have pretty decent reasons for not being that into the movie. But I don't know. Like I grew up watching the Spider-Man cartoons. I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies with Sam Raimi.
Yeah, and everyone pretty much agrees Spider-Man 2 is pretty much a perfect comic book movie.
Oh man, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's the gold standard for comic book movies.
Absolutely.
Is Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, like
this one's close.
So I don't know, like I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince me Spider-Man: Homecoming is a bad movie.
Yeah, no.
Like the way that they incorporate stuff, the way that they incorporate all the things like about the suit and with Karen, I think is what he ends up calling the voice that Tony Stark built for him. Like it all makes sense in universe.
I didn't think I was gonna like that at all.
Yeah, I kind of thought that I was gonna really hate it.
Yeah, but it's fine.
It doesn't bother me
because you want a Spider-Man who's just trying to get by.
It kind of gives him a reason to talk more, and I think that's
why they did it.
Be a reason why they did it. Yeah,
because he only really talks to her like in that scene where he's like stuck in a warehouse.
And that's Spider-Man's thing is he's always talking. So rather than look like a crazy person who's talking to himself, he has something to talk to.
Yeah, I mean it worked for the cartoon in the 90s. There was a lot of like inner dialogue, but like a 15-year-old's not gonna. He's going to be kind of shy about sharing it that much, and so like having a nice, calm person to talk to.
I mostly just think it would just be like
weird if you just
what are you doing, weirdo? Why are you talking to yourself?
Yeah,
you fucking weird weirdo, you weird kid. Why are you wearing that? You look ridiculous. but no, the way that they do all of that, they really pull it off. Michael Keaton is the Vulture. One of my favorite villains of the MCU.
I just love Michael Keaton and things.
Right up there with Killmonger and Loki.
Oh, dude. I just love Michael Keaton and stuff. And he really owns it, and he's menacing. But he's also, like, a lot of people see it this way.
But you get it. You know where he's coming from.
And
you know why he's doing what he's doing.
And some people are just like, hey,
he's ultimately
trying
just
to work.
trying to take care of his family.
Yeah. Now, it got out of control, obviously, at some point.
Yeah. It doesn't justify what he's doing, but you understand why he's doing it.
Yeah. That house is huge that he's in.
Yeah. They are well off.
Yeah.
They are well off. His daughter is the popular one in school.
He looks menacing as the Vulture, and it's not the crazy... With the Vulture, I'm like, we'll see how it goes.
And it's a low-stakes Marvel movie. Like, not every movie has to deal with the end of the world.
Mm-hmm, but the Vulture outfit...
I think Captain Marvel could have learned a little bit from that, maybe.
Possibly.
The Armada at the end was a bit much.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But, like that's what I'm saying. I think Marvel, if anything, should make more movies on smaller scales in between the big, huge events. Like every year can have their big, huge event, but maybe make smaller scale stuff around it.
Number 4, The Avengers.
The Joss Whedon one.
Yeah,
The other Joss Whedon one.
it proved like at this point we knew like the MCU was an experiment, and it's going pretty decently well for the most part.
All the movies were successes, but they weren't like this movie's probably going to make 800 million if it doesn't break 1 billion successes.
Yeah, but
like,
this
like
was
the first Thor I think made. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
First Thor made like I think 600 something like that. Captain America made like 450 or something like that. Like they were making money, but it was like they just kept fucking piling on from here.
But I see the Avengers movie as being proof that this thing works.
Right.
This was the first big hurdle. Like if this hadn't gone well, we wouldn't be having all these. Even if it just did okay, they would have worked the strategy a little bit differently.
If it made like Justice League money.
Yeah, or no, more than Justice League money. If it made more than Justice League, but not as much as it did. If it did that's not bad. They wouldn't have given us so many movies over the last 10 years. They would have given us like maybe 2 movies a year.
They wouldn't have really pushed down on the throttle.
This cast was perfect for all the roles.
Yeah. Like I didn't like Thor. I saw it in theaters and I almost walked out, but I was like, I might miss something important for the fucking next one. I guess we're doing that now. That's gonna piss me off. And now here we are making a list about 21 fucking movies. The best thing about it was that Loki was in it.
Yeah,
that was really the best thing about it.
They were like, "Say what, chaps? Look at this guy.
Yeah,
and he's the bad guy.
This guy looks good. We should use this guy."
And that's really where like I saw Avengers, I think with Dennis, and the only thing he had to do is who's that guy and what's that thing, and you figure that out in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a handful of movies that you will need to have at least read the Wikipedia articles for, like, so that you can have a semblance of what's going on, who these characters are, what they're doing, why the space caption is funny. You know, stuff like that kind of thing. And the first Avengers, you don't really need that.
No.
Everybody is well set up enough.
And well explored through the movie.
Right. Like, they've been introduced by a movie. There's still plenty of room to develop the characters. We're not in overkill mode yet. We're not in Flanderization land yet. But anyways.
Is this the first movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to successfully try and tease a future character, possibly a future villain, so we can go, who is that and what's going on?
Yeah, I think so, because that's the first time that we see Thanos.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the guy in the robe saying that we'll have to take care, and then the guy, all he does is turn around and look at the camera.
Doesn't he? He doesn't say, "I guess I'll do it myself."
That's the end. I think that's the end of Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was the first time that they did the really big team up, and it all came together, and just like, man, Joss Whedon is the guy to put a comic book movie in the hands of. Just let him do it.
When he does that first circular scene of all the Avengers, and it's not cheap, it's well-earned time for each character doing the thing they actually do.
That is probably the best shot in any Marvel movie.
Pretty much.
One shot. That's probably like if you March Madness up some brackets.
Yeah.
For best shot in a Marvel movie, that would probably be the best one.
Yeah, and it's just like it's every character's doing exactly what they do in a fight for a minute, and it's just neat. It's so neat.
Just can we have a round of applause for Joss Whedon? Just man.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
So number 3 isn't actually number 3 because it's tied for number 2. So Captain America: The Winter Soldier it's actually that is my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Just the way that we did this is where
it
landed. So like I rewatched it a little while ago, and just like I was kind of nervous going into it. I was like, what if I don't think it's my favorite Marvel movie anymore?
You know what that is?
Then I've been living a lie. You know, like it's just that's the movie that I've been saying is my favorite Marvel movie.
It holds up, man.
And if it's not my favorite Marvel movie anymore, then what is?
Right?
But no, it's totally still my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah. Even though most people read the comics and they know about Bucky being the Winter Soldier.
It didn't even matter.
But all I'm saying is it still works.
It doesn't take
As a
away. It
reveal.
doesn't take away from the movie at all. Because I going into it, I was like, yeah, it's Bucky.
Yeah, it's Bucky, but like it's really, and it's, man, it's still like people know things about the secrets, and it still works. That's how well crafted the movie is.
Oh yeah.
Is that you're just stoked about the Winter Soldier?
And just like it was the Russos. The Russos are the ones who kind of revolutionized. This was the first movie that they did for Marvel, by the way.
Really
good. And they were the ones who kind of like really were the first to utilize this kind of like semi sped up like pace for Captain Marvel's like fight scenes. Not Captain Marvel, Captain America's fight scenes. Like I don't know how to describe it, but just like the way that the action shots in these Captain America movies are filmed, the way that you see him take people down. Like there's a definite like power with his like they shoot it. They shoot it in ways to emphasize the power when he hits somebody, and just like the quickness that he's able to move through people.
Yeah,
like it's all low stakes. It's all small level, but it's really effective filmmaking.
Yeah, the opening scene, you see him taking out people on a boat.
Yeah.
It's low stakes.
He infiltrates a boat and takes people out one at a time.
Yeah, he just fastly, precisely,
and
smoothly.
That scene in the elevator where he's like, the easy way or the hard way.
It's so good.
So good.
Does anybody want to get out?
Yeah, the only thing I have to now say about it is every time Nick Fury tells him that, the last time he trusted somebody, he lost an eye, I just have to know that that happened because a weird alien cat thing scratched him in the face. And it had nothing to do with him trusting anyone. But then again, I guess Nick Fury is he's a spy, so he lies about stuff. It's what he does. So maybe if you look at it like that,
that's a good point. That'd be cool. A Nick Fury spy movie where he just lies a lot.
But I mean, it's literally one line, and it's still a great movie. Robert Redford's in it.
Robert Redford's in a comic book movie. Yeah, everyone. How did this happen?
Gary Shandling is in it. fucking the Larry Sanders Show. Plays a senator. It's so good. It's like to me, a lot of people like to make that argument that it's a more political espionage thriller than it is Marvel movie. And it's like, sure, I mean, a little bit.
Not that much.
It's like a Marvel movie shot like a political thriller, but political thrillers are usually like overly complicated, and then this movie is pretty streamlined. It's pretty straightforward. But it definitely, to me, comes off more like, I'd say more like a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like one too. They do a lot of that.
Yeah, it's like Marvel's Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
starring Captain America.
That's a good name. I'll watch that.
It's a lot, but it's not too much.
It's on the verge of being too much, but it's just the right amount of lot.
Tied for number 2, my personal favorite and the MCU, Captain America: Civil War. Man, so good. And it gave us the Russos, the lords and saviors of the Marvel Universe.
You just said Captain America: Civil War.
Spoiler alert.
Captain America: Civil War. This is my favorite movie because
the other Captain America movie.
Civil War. It's awesome. I love the comic. It was I read the comic like the year or two before that to get ready for it.
I had a roommate back in college, and he had all the Civil War stuff. And was just like, you got to read this shit.
Oh,
man.
I just had the giant collection. Oh, that sounds
so.
We had the original.
I was like, yes, I do.
It's really good.
Interesting.
Now the movie we got wasn't really that, but it was superheroes fighting superheroes.
But here's the thing. This is one of the first times. Well, I mean, like we got Age of Ultron, but like. This is the first time that they made a movie out of a major comic event, because Age of Ultron was a major comic event too, but they did it very well. Like Age of Ultron has things about it that I like, but it ultimately falls very short.
Yeah. Oh God, Civil War. It's
doesn't.
Also, the trailer. I remember the trailer dropping at the end. The Spider-Man, they're like, we got Spider-Man. That was a big deal for such a long time.
That was a big deal. Yeah. Whenever they announced that they got Spider-Man, that was huge.
And this gets into
seems like so long ago, such an innocent time.
This is like what I like about. We were talking about a little bit earlier. If we're picking best trilogy, I always go with Captain America, and it's because of the character study of Steve Rogers in this, and a lot of it has to do with his missed opportunity with Peggy that's hit on Agent Carter, that's hit on like every beat in the movies, but it's also just like his lost friend Bucky, who's looked out for him forever. And
But it's cool. He'll
help him.
just start an awkward relationship with with her daughter. That's what happens.
Oh, that is weird. And then they never bring it up again.
They shouldn't.
They never bring it up again.
It doesn't work.
But like the
Those
relationship,
actors don't have that kind of chemistry.
you know who does have chemistry is Evans and Stan, because that relationship works. Like this friendship
Dude.
thing is like so.
Okay, yes,
I
yes,
like-
they
I
do.
like-
They have great chemistry.
Yeah,
but
and-
you know who has even better chemistry and it shines in Civil War? That is Sam and Buck.
Yeah. So this one, it was
Number 2 from the Russos.
number 2 from the Russos.
It was like
pulling it off.
it was like the warm up for Infinity War.
Pretty much, because it's pretty much an Avengers movie.
Because like and the reason why I like Winter Soldier more than Civil War is because like with Winter Soldier, it's one of those that you can go into it cold. You don't have to see anything else in the MCU to really be able to enjoy that movie. Like you can still get it. And this movie is like the thing that Infinity War suffers from. Like I've seen all the movies, so I can watch Infinity War and love it, not have to worry about it. But like if you've never seen a Marvel movie, don't see Infinity War because you won't have any idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Same for Civil War.
That's true.
You're not gonna know what's going on if you're watching Civil War
That's
and you haven't
true, yeah.
seen a handful of other Marvel movies.
Yeah, not even like the same Marvel movies, like a couple of the different ones.
You,
to
you
really make
might
them
you
work.
might get away with just Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron. That might be enough, but you've at least got to watch those two.
Yeah. And it helps having Winter Soldier. Yeah, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron.
But again, like it's like a warm up for Infinity War in the sense that they're balancing so many characters on the screen, so many characters in the
And
story.
they do it really well.
They do it very well.
Very well. I feel like it's really fair to what they did to each character they portray.
A
And
lot of great action sequences.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun movie.
There's no like Avengers type shot. That was a point you were making earlier. There's nothing quite like that.
But what there is
But
there's that battle
it's-
royale shot.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That both sides running up to each other.
Which-
you see that like
Yeah.
because this would be in the running for best shot in the MCU, and that's that shot of like Cap's shield and Iron Man's blast.
Oh, that's straight off the cover, dude.
It's yeah, I'm saying like it's straight out of the comic. And that brings us to the final
Number 1.
number one movie to be at the top of this list. And it's funny how this movie got to the top of the list. It got here by being everyone's number 2.
Yeah. It's the most agreed upon movie.
All right, because the way that we did it is we pulled everything like from the ranks. We did like a cumulative thing, and it's just funny. Like the number one was varied enough that number 2 actually had more points at the end of everything.
Yeah.
So everyone's number 2, literally everyone's number 2.
But
is
on this
the
list is number 1.
And you know what? I'm not even mad about it because
I think it's well earned.
it's a deserving movie to have
Absolutely.
as your number 1. If somebody tells me this is their favorite Marvel movie, I'm not going to question them.
No,
I
good
get
for
it.
you. Good for you.
And that number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the big reveal. That was our number 1 movie.
Yeah.
Been watching all video, waiting for it. Number 1, Guardians
Number
of
1.
the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah. This was a change
Big change.
for the cinematic universe.
Back in 2014, this came out.
God, really?
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy.
That's insane.
Where does it go?
Oh man, where's the time go?
Where does it go?
Well, it goes to list apparently.
Well, yep. We just focus all the time into a list.
Into a list.
And Guardians drops 2014. First of all, they announced that they were gonna do it, and like my roommate, my roommate at the time, he was into these comics, and he was just like, "Dude, they're making a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? What?"
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said. Huh?
And I was just like, "Yeah, I know, right? Like Guardians
Or-
of the Galaxy. What's next? A Nova movie? We still haven't gotten one of those.
A lot of,
Nova movie.
I'm interested to see that.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to know more.
Nova movie. Nova. Yeah, because the Nova Corps and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. So, like with you and your roommate, you said a lot of their reaction was, "I can't believe they're doing that." But a lot of other people's reactions were, "Who?
Yeah.
Huh?"
Yeah, that's exactly why.
The comics aren't like super popular,
That's
and
why
they're not.
I couldn't believe they were doing
Yeah.
it. Because it's
It's-
just like, really?
It's just like someone.
Which lineup? Oh, yeah, I can see that working.
That could work. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one that Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec's he's gonna be the Star-Lord guy, Peter Quill. Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Play guitar and chill out a lot. Is that what's going on? And then you see it and you're like, Chris Pratt, what's going on?
I mean, he's a funny guy, but he's gonna have to get in shape.
He'll never do that.
Yeah, I don't see Chris Pratt getting in shape for anything. Oh, what a young time 2014 was.
Fools.
First thing from James Gunn, really proved that he knew what he was doing with these characters.
It's such a specific vision
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's like it's funny, but it's also intense and it looks cool. And it's just like your
Totally new
dad's
direction.
record collection,
Completely new
or your
direction.
mom's record collection, technically.
Like, I think it was the first movie outside of the main three, and then the Avengers. I think that Guardians was the first like weird one that we got.
Yeah, because it's just a lot of times you go, I don't know what this is. I'm looking at.
Yeah, and like with Thor, you get a little bit of space travel because of Asgard and all that, but they really don't dwell into it too hard.
They mostly lean into the mythological aspect of it. They're like, listen, they're aliens.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and just I don't know about you, but I was just really bored for all of that stuff.
Yeah.
This movie just like it's just interesting right away, like big family moment followed by the what the fuck, now he's been abducted by space aliens.
It's so insane and intense, and there's
And that soundtrack
it's solid.
that shouldn't work
No,
under any circumstances.
No.
And James Gunn finds a way to work it into the narrative.
yeah,
Like,
it's
what?
not an excuse to play cool music over stuff.
It kind of is, but it works.
Yeah, they find a reason for it. Like Doctor Strange has a song where they play like a scene where they play like a really old Pink Floyd song, like a Sid Barrett Pink Floyd song,
Right.
and it's cool movie, cool song, but it's just over him driving. It's not for any reason other than to have a Floyd song in there.
Yeah, like they work the songs into the narrative.
Yeah, it's you believe it.
Yeah.
When you hear that music, and it helps that it's all really good.
It's lightning in a bottle, this movie.
Pretty
Just
much.
lightning in a bottle. The
Yeah.
cast is great. It's so much fun watching them come together.
Yeah.
That scene where they all meet and then like they have to work together to break out of the prison. Just the way that the story functions and the way that the characters function through the story, it all feels so natural. Like
You wouldn't think that of a movie with like a guy in space and there's a talking raccoon
and one of
a
the
tree
characters
person.
is a space raccoon.
Yeah, and then all these other characters that just like see, like if you tell me like the character of Drax and Gamora, and I look at them and I'm like, that looks like space filler to me, but then they
Right.
happen and you're like,
Right.
so good.
And man, like if you ask me, like Drax has never been better than he is in this movie. Like
He still has that backstory that's sad.
I still like him
Yeah.
in Volume 2, and I like him even more in Infinity War. But he's still like
he's a sarcastic machine.
It was just everything worked so well for Drax. Like all his jokes landed. Like all that. Like of course not. I would catch it. Like just all of that stuff hits so well.
The jokes are more character based than like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Like that's a funny line, but that's
I
there to be
stand
funny.
very still. You cannot see me. It's like that's comical,
Crunch.
but it's more overt comedy.
Yeah.
Like I really like the subtle comedy of the first one.
Yeah. That's like we're gonna have the Teamsters for another 45 minutes. Do you want to do anything?
And like when
Type of joke.
and I'll tell you what, when the news dropped that Brad Cooper and
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, I don't know why I can't remember his name, but why Brad Cooper and Vin Diesel were going to be playing Rocket and Groot, like I was like, it's like that's a funny joke. No, but who's actually going to play Rocket and Groot?
And that's it.
Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel.
Oscar award winning Bradley Cooper.
And they stole the damn movie for me, man. Like my favorite parts of the movie were Rocket and Groot.
Yeah, it's great.
I was big fans of them from the comics, but
yeah. Oh God.
I didn't expect, like, I'm not a huge fan of Bradley Cooper in general. I like some of his stuff. Not a huge fan of Vin Diesel in general. Like I don't care about the Fast and the Furious. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I wasn't expecting very much from them, and they stole the show.
Yeah.
Like Brad Cooper doesn't sound like Brad Cooper. He sounds like Rocket Raccoon. And Vin Diesel like brings a lot of character with three words.
Occasionally sometimes occasionally a fourth word, but once at the end.
The one time he said, "We are Groot."
Yeah.
The one
which
time.
like
And that emotional moment does hit you.
Yeah,
It
so
definitely
hard.
does. And like I liked Ronan enough as a bad guy. He's not like as memorable as Loki or Killmonger or some of those guys or Vulture.
it served its purpose. I feel like
But yeah, and what was the actor's name? it's actually a fairly well-known actor. I can't remember his name, but he does a pretty good job playing the generic villain.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with his performance.
Well,
I actually like his scene chewing a little bit.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It works.
And then when you see
His
someone
big
else,
scary hammer thing, that works.
I mean, it's a cool ending when he puts it on there, and they're like, "You can't touch the ground," and then like, okay, all of a sudden it's a game of asteroids.
and it's never not gonna be funny to watch Chris Pratt challenge him to a dance off.
Yeah,
That's never not gonna be funny.
always gonna be funny.
In the theater, I was just like, "Are you serious? Andy Dwyer's fucking challenging the Marvel villain to a dance off?"
Oh my god,
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
That's what life was like back then. That's what we knew. We don't know what we know now.
Wait,
But man, so that's our list. That
Yeah.
was a whole lot of movies to get through. But it's really impressive that Marvel's been able to pull this off for
Yeah.
so long. And as we go into Endgame, this apparently, I mean, we'll see where because this is supposed to wrap all of it up. And I don't know where we're gonna be on the other side of Endgame. I don't know what the world's gonna look like in the MCU moving into Phase 4.
I don't know. I mean, it would appear. This is speculation on the movie. We'll get some of these characters back because of what you mentioned. There's people who have sequels coming out.
Oh, yeah.
After it, I still feel like their sequels will feel different because Endgame happened. Like I feel like Spider-Man 2 will feel different from Spider-Man 1.
Time Stone.
All the homes because it's totally
Time Stone.
Like it's not it's not a mystery of how it's gonna happen. It was pretty much made obvious in Infinity War. It's the Time Stone.
Time Stone.
Man, if it's not a Time Stone, we're gonna look dumb. It's the Time Stone.
It's very
It's
very possible that we're gonna look dumb, but it's Time Stone.
But oh shit, sorry, my alarm went off.
Oh, you got something that you got going on?
Yeah, no, we damn it.
No, what's up? Everything cool?
No, we missed it. I had an alarm set, and now we missed it.
Did you have an alarm set to remind you that you missed something?
You know what? I can fix this. I can fix this. Just sit right there. No, just sit right there.
Is there a problem? I don't.
No, just. I got it figured out, man. It's gonna all be gravy. Just figure it. It's good.
John, you know what he's talking about?
No.
Oh come on! Come on! I can't ruin the surprise.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I got a great idea. It's gonna work like. Oh, that didn't. That didn't go how I wanted. It's fine. I got another idea. It's timeless. You'll love it.
So like, are you doing like a Doc Brown bit now? Like,
Sam, we gotta get back.
so you're just gonna keep doing the Doc Brown thing?
We gotta go back, Sam.
Oh my God! All right, get back to what?
Back to Pensacon. We missed it.
Yeah. So
Back. We gotta go back.
will you stop doing the Doc Brown voice? You gotta stop doing the Doc Brown voice.
Can you just do the bit, please?
Fine.
What's up, crew? If you got any idea of what you would like for us to talk about on the Minute or on Movie Night Autopsy podcast, hit us up on the social medias. You can hit us up on Twitter at movie_autopsy. Check us out on Facebook at Movie Night Autopsy. Always feel free to email us, contact@movienightautopsy.com.